I thank the noble Lord Hampton and the noble Baronesses, Baroness Jones of Mousel-Combe and the noble Baroness Pigeon for Amendment 58. This seeks to require local authorities to ensure that bus operators are providing their drivers with access to the confidential incident reporting and analysis system, which I'll refer to as CIRAS. My Lords, the Government, as it should be, is always concerned about any safety incidents in the bus or indeed in any other public transport sector. That's why a number of official routes exist to allow anyone to provide confidential, anonymous reporting on safety and standards in the sector and backed up by enforcement. Anyone may anonymously report a lack of safety or conformation to standards in the bus sector to the DVSA Intelligence Unit, which may use this information to investigate the situation, including working with other government departments and agencies, as well as police forces. There are comprehensive standards that bridge all aspects of bus operation across roadworthiness of vehicles, operation of services and driver standards. And as I've said, they're enforced by a number of organisations, but principally DVSA. The operators of the vehicles are licensed by the traffic commissioners, who consider seriously non-compliance issues and ensure operators are effectively regulated. The judicial process of the traffic commissioners can and does result in depriving people of operators' licences and also depriving managers of their certificate to run bus operations. In terms of CIRAS, this does provide another route for employees to report concerns. Both Transport for London and Transport for Greater Manchester are members of CIRAS. And being able to report such concerns in a confidential manner is clearly important, and I would encourage employees of member organisations to consider using this service where appropriate. But CIRAS is a third-party service and it wouldn't be appropriate to include them within scope of this bill. However, what I will say, because I did a bit of personal research on this, is that if we're asking people to go to the DVSA for to report bus safety issues to the DVSA Intelligence Unit, then it would make a lot of sense for that access to the Intelligence Unit to be freely available. And when I looked at it myself, it was quite difficult to find, and I think that's really unhelpful. So I commit this afternoon that we will go away and see what needs to be done to make sure that the route to report directly to the government agency responsible for safety on buses is as efficient and easy as possible. On Amendment 59, I thank the noble Lord Hampton and the noble Baroness Jones of Mousel-Combe for bringing it forward. Road safety is, of course, a priority for government, and we do expect bus operators, as I hope I've just said, to adhere to the highest standards of safety. Buses are one of the safest modes of road transport in Great Britain, and my department remains committed to improving safety with appropriate vehicle construction standards and ensuring the safe operation of vehicles. As we've heard, franchising authorities do report safety in detail, and I expect that the consequence of this bill, as it enables other franchising authorities to be established, will also enable them to report safety in the way, or a similar way to the way that London and Manchester already do so, because in effect the franchising authority is taking responsibility for procuring and delivering a bus service. In respect of operations which are not part of a franchise bus services, we've heard this afternoon that this is carried out through the Stats 19 framework, which relies on reports from the police. These reports are based on locations which are identified by geographical coordinates. And I think this is a role which can't be delegated to local transport authorities and ought to stay with the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency because it relates to PSV operator licensing requirements. I note, however, the remarks of the noble Lord Hampton, both in respect of the accidents away from public roads, which I will go away and have a very close look at. I'm not familiar with that particular nuance, but it's clearly an important one. What I would say to him is that I think trying to divide any sorts of accidents into fault and no fault is fraught with difficulty, and in fact it must be subjective, and therefore I'm not sure that we would want to go down that road. But I do understand his point about recording accidents on public service vehicles wherever they occur, and we will go away and I will go away and see what can be done about that. Turning to Amendment 60 from the Noble Lord Hampton, which seeks to change long-established rules about daily driving time on regular bus services. There are two sorts of driving time rules: one for services that don't go beyond 50 kilometres, and one services that do. These daily limits are well and long established, and I think the gist of certainly my conversation with the Noble Lord when we had it was that actually what he was looking for is the ability for people to report scheduling requirements on bus drivers that make drivers feel that they're not safe. Now, I would say that is a matter that could well be drawn to the attention of the DVSA, because it goes to the heart of the repute of the operator, and I can well understand that there may well be drivers who feel that what they're being asked to do is potentially or actually unsafe, and I think that therefore goes back to the process that that I've referred to about the ability to report it either to CIRAS if the people responsible for the operation are members of it, or the DVSA if they're not. And I note what he says about seeking that this amendment seeks to draw to our attention this important matter.